I've never really been able to get into MMOs at all. So today I thought, let's try to play World of Warcraft and see how it goes. And let's just say it went better than I expected. For reference, the only MMOs I put any time into was ESO or Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76. I'm a massive fan of the Elder Scrolls series as a whole, so I enjoyed playing ESO for the most part. Maybe one day I might go back and see how much has changed since I last played. Enough about that though. Today, like I said, I'm going to be playing through WoW and seeing if it's something I'd like to sink some more time into. Starting off, we looked through some of the character creation, and I have no idea about the different factions, so the Alliance and the Horde. I just picked what appealed to me more and went with the Alliance side. Sorry for all the Horde fans out there. It was a close pick between the two. I went with the Night Elf as my race and the Rogue as my class. All the class options seemed really fun to play, and it was a close pick between Rogue and Mage for me as well. I spent a decent amount of time in the character creator. I ended up going with long hair with this darker purple color and kept pretty much the basics that my character already had for the preset. So like the beard, and I changed the eye colors to blue. I tried to name myself Borg and learned that there's already another Borg out there, so congrats on that, you beat me to it. So I just randomized until I found something that I liked, and I went with Ariond. Now it's time to jump in with Ariond and see where this adventure takes us.
You are a soldier of the Noble Alliance. A coalition of kingdoms upholding the ideals of valor and justice across Azeroth. An Alliance expedition sent to explore an uncharted island has recently gone missing. As a bold new recruit, you have joined a rescue mission departing from Stormwind. Find the lost expedition members and bring them home. For the Alliance!
After learning the basics of the movement system, we talked to Captain Garrick to accept our first quest to attack the combat dummies behind her. After this, we learn about the spellbook and we learn the skill Eviscerate. Our next quest is a spar with Private Cole here, and using the new skill we just learned, comboed with our Sinister Strike ability, we do big amounts of damage the more points we build up.
Captain,
As we finish up sparring, the weather picks up and we all run inside for cover. After our ship crashes, we wake up on a beach of the island we were trying to make it to. Our first action is to attack these new enemies called Murloc,
Thank the light.
to get first aid kits to help some of our crew members who have been injured. We make quick work of the Murlocs and get back the first aid kits, healing our crew members. Captain Garrick then lets us know that she saw a fire up ahead and says that we should investigate to see if any more survivors washed up on different parts of the beach. Coming up on the camp, we see someone named Alaria, and we need to get 5 raw meat from the wildlife around the camp and cook it on the campfire. For doing this, we receive a heal item that will be very useful later on. We give Alaria the cooked meat, and she lets us know that some of our other crew members, including Captain Garrick's son, was kidnapped by a bunch of Quillboar. And just to make sure we can handle ourselves, Captain Garrick challenges us to another sparring session before heading out to look for everyone. Alaria then tells us about a scout that's to the north, so that's where we head and meet up with one of the scouts we saved earlier, Austin Huxworth. He tells us that the Quillbore are performing a necromantic ritual on one of the expedition members, and their chief, Grek Og, is planning on sacrificing the crew member who might have information on where our other members might have been taken. So we head to slay Grek Og. We get some new abilities, which is awesome. I was very curious to see the stealth ability on our rogue class, and we also learn how to sprint. When trying to attack Grek Og, I had this weird thing happen where he had already been slain and I couldn't loot him or talk to the member he had trapped, so I had to run away and come back, and then we finally get to attack him and save our crew member. I used some of the tough jerky I got earlier from saving Ilaria and heal back up to full. After this, we meet back up with our crew and receive our first piece of armor, so I immediately throw that on. The crew member we saved, Lyndall, tells us that Captain Garrick's son, Henry, is ahead of us and being held prisoner. Lyndall lets us ride on the Scout-O-Matic to get an overhead view of the area, and it was really cool seeing just how many enemies were down below and how many we would have to fight our way through to save him. We get a new device called the Resizer and use it on a nearby Quillbore to make it grow into a massive behemoth and use it to defeat all of the enemies in the area. At this point in the game, I was really hooked in the story, and I didn't even realize that at this point I had been recording for over an hour. The Quillbore then shrinks back down to normal size after wiping out the massive horde, and we fight Torgok, the ogre who had taken Henry. This fight was pretty easy using our combo of the 1 and 2 ability, and after Torgok falls, we go outside and finally get to talk to Henry. Henry tells us that the ogres are using necromancy to raise a dragon from the dead, and they're using people as sacrifices to fuel the ritual. We accept a few more quests and head over to the spider pit, where some more of our expedition team are stuck in these spider sacks that we have to cut them free from. We get down to the bottom of the spider pit and find that Raleigh, a dream chaser, is being held by Hrun the Exile, and we make easy work of him. Raleigh then transforms into a white stag, and we ride her all the way back up through the pit while rocks and debris are falling on our heads and explosions in the background. This part was really fun, and I didn't expect it at all. We then run over to Henry and help him fight some harpies in order to save Merity. After fighting through the waves of harpies, we are then attacked by a creature called the Bloodbeak, and I just have to say the designs for the monsters in this game are awesome. I was always excited to see what would come next that we would have to fight and how they were introduced. After saving Merity, I check the map and notice there's a quest nearby, so I go and check it out, and after completing it, we get a buff called Light Speed that makes us faster when running around in this area. Next, we meet back up with our squad, and we are transformed into an ogre by Merity and Raleigh to sneak our way into the ogre encampment up ahead to see what's going on with the rituals to summon the dragon. Once we get to the top, we discover that Captain Kira is being held prisoner and won't last much longer as the ritual is already about to be completed. We are tasked with recovering ward stones from the 3 boss ogres to free her. We also make quick work of these 3 bosses, and we run back as quickly as possible to use the ward stones and stop the ritual. After this, I am shown how to use the dungeon finder, and we get teleported to Darkmaul Citadel, where we have to stop Gorgroth's ritual. We fight our way through more ogres and finally reach the top to fight Gorgroth. After I thought we had defeated him, he makes one last effort and sacrifices himself to awaken the dragon and finish the ritual. But as you can see, the dragon didn't receive enough power, so just like everyone else we've fought so far, we make quick work of him too. We talked to the captain one last time, and were teleported back to the start of the area before we were teleported into the dungeon. When we get back, we see a flock of griffin waiting for us, and we hop on one and fly it to the wonderful city of Stormwind. When we touch down, we are tasked with going and speaking to Lyndall again, and he gives us a ride to the Old Town stables. I'm going to speed it up for the sake of the video, but this was a nice breather after a lot of the combat-focused tutorials we were making our way through, so I just relaxed and watched as Lyndall drove us around through the city. We reach the Old Town stables and are told that Captain Garrick prepared a mount for us, so the Griffin is now ours to use whenever we need to. Lyndall tells us after this to go and speak to Veronica Darkstream to learn more about combat specializations. After reading through all of the classes, I decided to go with Outlaw over any of the other ones just based on my personal preference. And I selected Evasion under the Rogue skill tree, which increases our dodge chance by 100% for 10 seconds. Next, Lyndall helps us fix our homeless issue and tells us to go to the Pig and Whistle Tavern. Once we speak to Megan the Innkeep, she agrees to let us stay here, so we're officially off the streets. Right after this, we get a message stating that we discovered a new quest and the Dragon Isle awaits us. We have to meet up with someone named Rathian in Stormwind using the Lost Dragon Scale to teleport. We teleport over here and listen to what he has to say, and that's where I decided to call this video. I had a lot of fun playing World of Warcraft, and I now understand why it is as popular as it is. I only have the trial version of Warcraft, so I can play up to level 20, I believe, and then as a paid membership, but I'm so glad that I got the chance to play it before fully committing to a monthly subscription. And if you enjoyed this video at all and want to see more of the adventures that I plan on getting into with this game, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. And depending on how well this video does, and if you all like it, I'll consider doing another video as soon as I play more. Thank you all for taking the time and watching, and I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day.